Hello, everybody. Today I'm back again with another poem. This time the poem is Casabianca by Felicia Dorothea Hemans. Before I proceed, a few lines about the poet. Felicia Dorothea Hemans was an English poet who owed the immense popularity of her poems to a talent for treating romantic themes like the sublime, imagination, emotions, nature, etc., with an ease and engaging fluency. Regarded as the leading female poet of her times, Hemans was immensely popular during her lifetime in both England and the United States. Now that we know a bit about the poet, I will recite the poem Casabianca. The poem goes like this. The boy stood on the burning deck, whence all but he had fled. The flame that lit the battle's wreck shone round him over the dead. Yet beautiful and bright he stood, as born to rule the storm, a creature of heroic blood, a proud though childlike form. The flames rolled on, he would not go without his father's word. That father, faint in death below, his voice no longer heard. He called aloud, "Say, Father, say, if yet my task is done." He knew not that the chieftain lay unconscious of his son. "Speak, Father," once again he cried, "if I may yet be gone." And but the booming shots replied, and fast the flames rolled on. Upon his brow he felt their breath, and in his waving hair, and looked from that lone post of death in still yet brave despair, and shouted but once more aloud, "My father, must I stay?" While over him fast, through sail and shroud, the wreathing fires made way. They wrapped the ship in splendor wild, they caught the flag on high, and streamed above the gallant child like banners in the sky. There came a burst of thunder sound. The boy, oh, where was he? Asked of the winds that far around with fragments strewed the sea. With mast and helm and pin fail, that well had borne their part, but the noblest thing which perished there was that young faithful heart. Now that you have heard the poem, let us go for discussion about the same. So, the central theme of this poem basically revolves around loyalty, sacrifice, discipline, and courage. The young boy fearlessly embraced his responsibilities and duties, standing with unwavering bravery as he waited for the permission of his father to leave the ship. Even when the death was approaching, his courage and loyalty remained intact, unlike others who had already left the ship. So much so that he was prepared to give his life rather than betray his sense of duty and allegiance. And now, we will discuss the poem stanza-wise. So we can see that the poem opened with young Casabianca, alone and resolute, standing on the blazing deck of his ship during a fierce naval battle. Surrounded by fire and destruction, the boy, Casabianca, remained in place despite the intense heat and despite the fact that everybody else had fled or fallen. In stanza 2, the boy, described as beautiful and bright, seemed destined for heroism, holding his ground with dignity and bravery, even as chaos unfolded around him. And though he was very young, he embodied an almost noble pride, symbolizing courage amid tragedy. Moving to stanza 3, here it is said that as the flames grew more intense, the boy did not leave his post. He was bound by a sense of duty. and he waited his father's command to lift the burning ship. However, his father, who lay dead below deck, was unable to respond to his son's calls. In stanza 5, it says that the boy called out, asking his father if his duty was over and if he might abandon the ship, unaware that his father could no longer hear him, unaware that his father is already dead. His cries became more urgent, but only the booming cannons and the spreading flame responded to him. The next stanza, it is said that as the fire closed in, Casabianca, the boy, felt its scorching heat and saw it approaching, and yet continued to stand facing his fate with brave despair. Even with the imminent death, he remained steadfast, displaying courage beyond his years, beyond his age. In the next stanza, the boy was shown to be desperate as he called out one final time to his father, seeking guidance and permission as the all-engulfing flames advanced even faster, filling the ship with hungry flames. And the next stanza, the fire had already engulfed the vessel completely, reaching up to the flag like a banner rising towards the sky, wrapping the ship in a fairy splendor that added to the tragic grandeur of the scene. And finally, an explosion shattered the ship, sending debris into the sea and obliterating any trace of the brave boy who had stood alone against the flames. In the last stanza, the poet reflected on the devastation, stating that among all that was lost, the most precious was Casabianca's loyal and courageous heart. The boy's heroic sacrifice in obedience to his father immortalized him as a symbol of unbreakable loyalty and courage, embodying the spirit of selfless devotion even in the face of death. And that's all about the stanza-wise discussion of the poem. I hope you liked this beautiful poem. See you in the next video. Till then, bye-bye.